Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 10.
New tonight at 10, Fargo saw the first case locally of students being sent home due to possible COVID-19 exposure this week. The North Dakota Department of Health has a process to help stop the spread of the illness. Valley News Team's Devin Fry spoke at the Department of Health and tells us how it works.
Preparedness in schools for the COVID-19 pandemic has been a hot topic for months now as the illness continues to grow. Locally, we had our first case of students being sent home due to potential COVID-19 exposure at South High School. This is something that health officials have been prepared for, as explained by school health specialist Sarah Massey.
Our teams have really ramped up, and we are identifying those school close contacts as quickly as we can and working with the schools to make sure that we are protecting the rest of the school and staff in their buildings.
After a positive case is reported by the school COVID coordinator group, along with local public health units, spring into action. They first work to identify anyone who may have come into close contact with the student who tested positive. This not only includes those in school, but also those who came into contact with them socially or even with extracurricular activities. Once they have them identified, officials inform them that they should quarantine for 14 days.
Our teams at the local public health level and at the state level are here to bring that voice of calm and reason and walk them through this process and provide as much support as we can to the schools as they're working through these uncertain waters.
They also waste no time in this process and immediately began the search for those who may have been exposed.
Once we're alerted that there is a case, we are in action within an hour, and we are contacting a school and beginning that process of identifying those close contacts.
In an effort to ease anxiety, they also send letters to parents whose children have not been exposed, saying that they have nothing to worry about. Reporting from Fargo, Devin Fry, Valley News Live.
The Smart Restart guidelines for North Dakota schools can be found on the Department of Health website. Let's take a look at the COVID-19 numbers. Minnesota is reporting 924 confirmed cases of COVID-19, along with 4 new deaths. In total, more than 1,800 deaths have been attributed to the disease. In North Dakota, there are 360 new cases in the state. 5 deaths were reported today, bringing the death toll to 155. Following the holiday weekend, Grand Forks will be hosting a COVID-19 testing event. Tuesday, the 8th, anyone at least 5 years old can be tested at UND's High Performance Center from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's free. You just have to register beforehand. Gunshots were exchanged last night between suspects in a stolen vehicle and 2 deputies. Around 9:30, officials were told that a vehicle had just been taken from its owner at a business in Cass Lake, Minnesota. The stolen vehicle was found north of Cass Lake in 10 Lakes Township. A pursuit began, and the people in the vehicle began shooting at the deputy, hitting his squad car. He was not hurt. 2 deputies shot at the victim's vehicle, or the suspect's vehicle, forcing it to stop. The people inside were taken into custody and a handgun was recovered. Minot police are searching for the man responsible for a shooting this morning. They are asking for your help in finding 31-year-old Taryn Evans. Evan is 6'2", 185 pounds, with brown eyes and black hair. Officials say around 5 this morning, they responded to the report of gunshots and found a man with gunshot wounds. The victim was taken to the hospital. Anyone with information should call Minot Police at 701-852-0111 or contact your local law enforcement. 2 men who prosecutors say are members of an anti-government extremist group have been charged with federal terrorism counts. 30-year-old Michael Solomon of New Brighton, Minnesota, and 22-year-old Benjamin Teeter of Hampstead, North Carolina, are members of the Boogaloo Boys, according to authorities. The 2 men toted guns on Minneapolis streets during unrest following the death of George Floyd and spoke about shooting police, blowing up a courthouse, and killing politicians. Boogaloo supporters, who use the movement's name as a slang term for the term as a slang term for a second civil war or collapse of civilization.
Their prime motivation is to protect Second Amendment rights, to protect what they perceive as personal liberties.
She says the group is attracted to chaos, which is likely what drew them to Minneapolis. Fargo police are asking drivers to slow down after pulling over a motorcycle going more than 3 times the posted speed limit. Officials say last night an officer stopped a motorcycle in the 2300 block of 73rd Avenue South, going 92 in a 25-mile-per-hour zone. The speeding fines totaled out to be $420, with 15 points against the driver's license. One thing we've learned during the coronavirus pandemic is people continue to reevaluate their living space. Despite huge job losses, Valley News Team's Courtney Lockie explains why the real estate market is bucking economic trends.
Oli Jurdy is on the hunt for a new home.
With the pandemic, you work from home for a few months, you're like, okay.
His place in West Fargo was on the market less than 3 weeks before it sold.
We're pretty excited to have it on the contract and just kind of be done with that part. Now it's a matter of finding a house down there.
Coronavirus cabin fever has the Jurdys moving on, a desire fueling a pandemic real estate boom.
Where I was right that people wouldn't want to sell their home through the pandemic, I was terribly wrong at how many people would actually want to buy through this.
Eric Hatch admits he was concerned when he saw the world changing in March of 2020. What would that mean for his business? He never could have predicted this.
So many people are feeling the walls of the 4 sides of their home or apartment close in on themselves.
Despite record high unemployment, home sales are outpacing last summer, and bidding wars are too. Hatch says the average house sits on the market for about 2 months, but it's not uncommon for some of them to sell within the first 2 weeks. Listings are down by 4%, but they're selling at an 8% increase compared to last year.
Those that are selling their homes are in such a sweet spot right now.
That's because buyers have less options and may have to compete, meaning sellers are getting closer to their asking prices. The pressure in the market has people like the Jurdys capitalizing.
When we move, the whole Jurdy family moves too, so.
In West Fargo, Courtney Lockie, Valley News Live.
The average house in Fargo-Moorhead sells at about $250,000. That's up about 5% from last year. The people we talked to say that prices are lowest in Moorhead and highest in West Fargo.